What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, boys. Konami must be listening to us because I put out that video about Fluffles and all the reasons why you should strongly pick up the cards or strongly consider picking up the archetype. Less than 24 hours ago, and lo and behold, just a day later, they reveal an amazing new support card for the archetype coming out of the Dimension box. This is Frightfur Patchwork, and I don't even really need to hype this card, guys. It's this card is basically a fucking staple. It's amazing, and I would always want this in my opening hand. It is a normal spell card, again, Frightfur Patchwork. The artwork is actually pretty, I like it. You see Edge Imp Sabers in the back. You see the Leo here. It looks like it's an ultra rare. I would assume that it should be an ultra rare in the TCG as well, just because I don't really think that there's a need to change any of the rarities considering it's a sealed product. Like, you're going to get the same cards in every single dimension box. So it's like, what's the point of even messing with the rarities in the TCG? You can only activate one Frightfur Patchwork per turn. Obviously, because this card would be kind of dumb if you could activate two of them. Add one Polymerization and one Edge Imp monster from your deck to your hand. So to me, this card is basically like the fusion version of something like Pre-Preparation of Rites. It makes your hand essentially fusion ready, or as fusion ready as it's going to get. It's basically identical to Pre-Preparation of Rites, to be honest. And then you should be able to, as long as you have any type of Fluffle, you should be able to pretty much go into any Frightfur that you want. I mean, maybe you can't go into like Sabertooth, but if you want to go into Tiger or Wolf or Octo, you should be able, or excuse me, not Octo, Kraken, you should be able to pretty much go into all of those. And what I like about this card is it doesn't just grab one of the Edge Imp monsters. Like, it doesn't specify that you have to get Sabers or that you have to get Chain. You can get either one because they both kind of work when they hit the graveyard. Well, Sabers doesn't work when it hits the graveyard, but it can be reborn from the graveyard via its own effect. And obviously Chain is a card that you don't immediately have to fuse with. You can pitch Chain for something like Twin Twisters. You can pitch it for like Toy Vendor, and you can end up like using its effect to search if there's something else in your deck that you want. This card is, I really don't have to spend like 10 minutes on this card, guys. It's flat out amazing. I would imagine that not only is it staple, but again, you always want this card in your opening hand. I would probably say that this is probably like a 2 of, because at 3, I could imagine it could be a little cloggy. The only reason I could say that is you can only activate one per turn. So like, you wouldn't want to open with 2 of these in your opening hand unless you were just gonna like Twin Twister it. And just having that instant +1 means that like Fluffles going second can just get like, could you imagine if you open with this and Dog, guys? You could basically be looking at having like 8 cards off break. You basically have 2 +1s. You'd have 8 cards. That's gonna mean a lot of times Fluffles are gonna be able to OTK going second. Like, if you don't put up a huge board of, like fucking Totally Awesome and all these other stun cards, if you're playing a deck like Zodiac Beast, which will be right around the time that this comes out, could you imagine if they just dark hole you and then they're just like, okay, GG, I've got 8 cards and I dark hole, that's 1. I still have 7 cards left, man. That's a lot of cards to work with, especially in Fluffles where you basically summon Tiger and then you activate, Frightfur Fusion and you just summon Wolf in its game. So I think this is pretty scary, man, especially when going second. So you guys let me know what you think of this card. I think it's a staple. Probably at like 2 copies. I think that this card allows you to do everything from instantly make your hand kind of like fusion ready to get you things like, what's it called? Chain to pitch for like Twin Twisters and to use for like your Toy Vendors and everything. And there's honestly just nothing, or there's nothing to really say bad about this card. So let me know what you guys think. What do you guys feel about the viability moving forward of Fluffles? I had a weird feeling, and of course I didn't know this card was coming out. It's an archetype that I'm looking at, and I'm just like, man, I see this card, this card, this card, this card, and I see 5 different ways that Fluffles are going to get better in like the next 60 or 90 days. You know what I mean? So no, I'm not, by the way, I'm not jumping from Dark Magician to Fluffles like everyone thinks. I can identify when an archetype's going to get better, and Fluffles are just going to get better. There's no way to deny that. They're just going to get better in the next basically 3 months now. So let me know what you guys think, and thank you for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already.